Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate, all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and I'll get to welcome you to a wonder-filled Wednesday. We also have a wise Wednesday today because I got Dr. Renee McCoy in the building, the HIV Programs Manager for AARTH, which is African American Reach and Teach Health. And I'm excited because we're going to be learning about Black National HIV/AIDS Awareness Day with Dr. Renee. So I am definitely one who's like, I'm in for a treat. That means y'all are too. But of course, it's the top of the show. So this is where you get to share this treat with others. Go ahead and share the show with folks who you feel could benefit from our daily dose of dopeness we work to give you here on the Day with Trae. And if you can't watch our TV show, we still have you covered, y'all. You can always listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network in the Day with Trae. You'll find us on your favorite platforms. Now, before I get into it with Dr. Renee, I get to tell y'all that there's always a level of learning that I'm doing here as the host of the Day with Trae. And it's so special because the curated guests that we have for Black History Month are really here to not only educate me, but to educate y'all. You know, there are so many great things that have been going on for generations that we may be catching up to or learning about. And there are also new forms of work that's happening to continue legacies that have began long before us. But this tight connection to our history is what is so important for us to always remember and uplift, particularly during Black History Month. But of course, for us, it's every day of the year. You know, for me, I'll say that there's always something so special about hearing the stories from my grandmother and how she and others migrated from Teague, Texas, all the way to Portland and then up here to Seattle area. And listening to all of her stories, I was reminded of the resilience and the strength that I come from. So during Black History Month, take some time to connect with the elders in your family and in your community. What are some of the things you didn't know existed, maybe right there in your neighborhood or with your own family? There are so many great stories that we learn and we understand more about how to be anchored in the rich history that really is a part of us, a part of our communities, a part of our neighborhoods, and a part of our families. So I'm encouraging y'all to tap in with those in your neighborhood, in your family, in your community that are sharing those stories, that hold those stories dear, because it is important for us to continue those stories. Now, I get the pleasure of making sure my sons can hear those stories because that's really what it's about. It's passing history down from one generation to another. And whether you have kids or not, young people hearing about their neighborhood, their community, their family, maybe your aunt or uncle, maybe you're a godparent. You know, there's many of ways to be connected to that next generation so they can also be empowered by the stories that are empowering you. And so I'm encouraging y'all during this Black History Month, think about your history as well and the contributions of Black Americans to not only this nation, but something that could be really specific to your community, your neighborhood, or your family. Well, after this short break, y'all, I'm excited because Dr. Renee McCoy is in the building and we're going to be learning so much about Black National Awareness Day for HIV and AIDS. Y'all don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Black caregivers, entrepreneurs, and elders, this one's for you. Queen Care is offering complimentary self-care services to those who give so much to their communities. Take a moment to restore, recharge, and be cared for with free wellness treatments at the Spa House by Queen Care. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Go to queencareproducts.com now to sign up or scan the QR code on your screen because you deserve the same care you give to others.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is Dr. Renee. Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I am cold.
You know what? It's chilly out there. It really is. But I want to thank you for being here with me today. You know, when we think about history, I want to learn a little bit about you and how you got connected to the work at AARTH as the HIV Programs Manager. Tell us about those beginnings.
Oh, in terms of the beginnings, I've been doing HIV and AIDS work since the disease first surfaced in 1981. I'm also a minister. I was a pastor in Harlem in 1981, and I woke up one day and the newspaper said there was this mysterious disease that was taking folks out. I'm also a lesbian, and most of my congregation was Black and LGBTQ, and all of a sudden we had this disease that was just taking everybody out. So I started there in 1980. Well, actually the church started in 1981. So 9 months after, I went to see a young man in Bronx Lebanon Hospital, young Black gay man, and back then you had to put on gloves and coats and gowns and everything. And the first thing he asked me is, "Am I going to hell?" And I realized then that there were a lot of us who the church had abandoned, the church had just sort of kicked out and not taken care of. And here we were at a time when if we ever needed to know that God loves us and that God cares for us, it was that day. And I've been doing this work ever since. So I was in New York. I'm from Detroit. I moved back to Detroit. I was director of HIV and AIDS programs in Detroit for the Detroit metropolitan area. Fell in love with a girl from Seattle, moved out here 15 years ago, been here ever since. And, you know, I got to where it's a passion for me. And AARTH was looking for someone to take on HIV a little bit. I'm a medical anthropologist, and so I deal with the role of health and culture in health. So it was a good place for me to be, and I wanted to sort of give back. I'm at that age where, I'm old and I want to do what I want to do. But that passion, I saw too many young Black men and women die, and nobody cared for them. And I got to know that I did everything that I could to end this disease.
My goodness. I mean, to be connected to this from the beginning speaks volumes because we have had so many advancements in medicine and technology. Can you tell us about some of those progressions that you've seen in terms of the advancement of, health?
Everybody, everybody pretty much knows about, that now HIV is a chronic disease and folks are living with it. You can take some medication. But what people don't realize is that 40% of the people who are living with HIV in this country are Black. Over 40% of the people who are getting infected, the new diagnoses in this country, are Black. That's what we don't. We think that we don't talk about it, so we think it's going to go away. And we know that there's medication out here you can take. We're at a point where if you take your medication, if you get care, and get undetectable, you can't pass it on. The problem is that Black people aren't getting the kind of care that they need. They're not getting the kind of prevention messages that they need. They're not getting the kind of services that they need. HIV is still deeply stigmatized. Black folks don't. Here in Washington State, we're 3.8% of the population. We are over 17% of the people who have HIV in the state of Washington. We are over 20% of the new diagnoses of HIV in the state of Washington. So it ain't over. So we can talk, the problem with us as Black folks is we like to think that we can take a pill and it's over with. If we stop talking about something, it's going to go away. The reality and what we're seeing in the White House now is that just because we don't talk about it, don't make it go away. The reality is that we still have people who are using drugs. We have still people who are having sex. If you're having sex, you need to know about HIV. We think old people don't have sex no more. I don't know where they get that from, but whoever told them that. But over 50% of the people with HIV are over 50. There you go. Now I love it when I say stuff.
Oh my
there you go.
gosh.
Think about mom, dad. Think about who's in the assisted living situations. We're seeing an increase of younger, young adults, Black young adults, testing positive with HIV. It ain't over. We, the one thing that I really want to talk about is National Black HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. And on this coming Saturday, we're having a town hall meeting over at Plymouth between 2 and 4 at Plymouth Church, so that we can talk about just downright. We got some experts. We got people living with HIV. You're going to talk about their experiences. We got people who from the health department. We got people who are providing services who will give us some factual stuff. But we need to have a regular conversation. Sit down and let's talk about what's going on. The theme of National Black HIV and AIDS Day here is blacks and HIV, why bother? That's the problem. We have said, why bother, too long. And I'll tell you, everybody knows somebody somewhere that is at risk for HIV, that's living with HIV, that's the stigmatized of HIV. If we think that it's not a problem for us, think about, what's going on. It's hard to get health care. It's hard to get health care if you're just a heterosexual white person, But to be Black, to have a stigmatized disease, it's going to get harder to get health care. And without health care, we can't stop this. We can't end this. Think 3% of the people in the state look like me and you. 17% of the people in the state who are living with HIV look like me and you. It's increasing among Black women as well. So let's get real. We know we can take a pill. A lot of us, have arthritis, and we could take a pill that don't make it go away. So let's talk about the hope for tomorrow rather than how we can, cover this up and what we've done and what, if there are medications out here, PrEP, that can reduce the risk of getting HIV through sex by 95%. Black folks ain't finding out about that. We're not talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. The preacher stand in the pulpit and tell you you're going to hell, but the preacher has an opportunity in a pulpit to tell you that there are some things that you can do to prevent getting this disease. Our young people need to know. Use a condom still. It's a simple thing. Don't have unprotected sex. It's a simple thing. There is medication you can take right now. If you're using IV drugs, there's medication that reduces your risk by 75%. Black folks they're not telling us that. They can tell us where to get the latest shoes. They can tell us where to get, what to do to get the latest piece of music. But ain't nobody telling us that there is medication that can prevent this disease right now. And it's free.
Wow.
And it's free. You ain't got to pay for it. There's organizations, like POCAN, like the health department, where you can go and get medication for free that will prevent HIV 95%.
Dr. Renee, I mean, first off, whoa, because you just blew my mind with the data that we do not know enough about. And what's so interesting to me is I was born in 81, right? So you're talking about going all the way back. And I remember it was heavily talked about. And then you just assume you're so right because it's not being talked about that, it must be disseminating. It must be dying out. It must not really be impacting people. So what kind of things can be done right now to make sure that people understand the knowledge you have?
Well, there's 3 things. One is engage, engage one another. Talk about it. We are trying to pull together some collaborative effort we call the Sankofa Health Collaborative. And we're trying to get folks who are concerned about Black health with an emphasis on HIV to just run and tell that. One thing that we can do, everybody can do, is to say HIV is still a Black thing, not a Black thing, because we don't always respond to things, but it's a Black thing. And a Black thing means that it's creeping in and it's taking over. Things in our community creep in, take over. Things in our community distract us, creep in, take over. HIV is still a Black thing. And that's something everybody can do. Everybody can do. One little sentence. HIV is still a Black thing. The next thing is to educate your kids about sex. Number one, admit that they're having it. Educate seniors about sex. Admit that they're having it. Teach them how to have safer sex. Teach them how to use a condom. The other thing is get tested. Nobody encouraging us to get tested, but we got home test kits still. You can go to Amazon, order an HIV home test kit. There's the health department. We can get them home test kits. And if you test positive at home, then go and get a confirmatory test. It ain't gonna make it go away. There's PrEP. Find out about PrEP. Tell everybody. Folks who, if you're sweeping floors, tell somebody that there's a medication. If you're driving a bus, tell somebody there's a medication. If you're in a pulpit, run and tell that. That's what we can do, is run and tell that. And we can talk about talk about the importance of community, the importance of us coming together to keep one another warm. As I was sitting over there shivering, I was thinking about penguins in the Antarctic, The way that they keep from freezing is they cuddle up together and they shiver together. That's what happens. And as Black people, we got to come together and we got to cuddle up and we got to shiver together. We got to understand that hope is an act of resistance for us. We have got to understand that as a community, we have got to continue to hope in our possibilities, hope in our health. Hope is our greatest act of resistance. Can't nobody stop that. But we got to think about what we do. Think about what our kids are doing. Affirm one another. We're talking about transgender people and gay people. We, as a Black community, we ain't had no place to go. We all grew up in the same, we had trans, gay, straight, drug, everybody lived together in the same community. So what's different now? White folks say there's something wrong with us? No, that's how we live. We like penguins. We snuggled up and we shivered together and we got through winter. And that's how we're going to get through the winter of HIV. Snuggle up, tell somebody, shiver together. We can do this. We see they got the commercials on TV all the time, talk about PrEP. We don't know what that's about, but there's a medication you can take. 95% prevention from sex, 75% prevention from IV drugs. Get tested.
Get tested. And I love this too. HIV is still a Black thing.
It's a
you
Black
got me
thing.
on that.
There
You
you
got me
go.
on that one. But this is why events like what's happening this Saturday is so important. I mean, you're talking about the fact that people are still really kept in the dark,
That's right.
essentially, especially if you're not somebody who's directly connected. This is all new information to me.
That's right.
I knew you was going to be schooling me today. But this is why
That's right.
events like that are so important, because folks like myself can attend and learn.
That's right.
How can we be a part of this community? How can we make sure that we're doing everything we can, just like you said you're doing, to make sure that we can eradicate this, that we can make the awareness even greater? So I just want to give you a second to look in this camera here closest to me and make sure people understand the details of this event coming up this Saturday, because people need to be there at Plymouth. Please let them know how they attend.
All right. We are having a town hall meeting to talk about why bother. HIV and AIDS in the Black community, why bother? It runs from 2 to 4 at Plymouth Congregational Church. And in the Hildebrand room, we got food, so come early before the food run out. We're going to start serving food around quarter to 2, but it runs from 2 to 4. We got a panel that's of experts, a panel that includes people who are living with HIV, people who are affected by HIV. We got people who know the stats, people who know why, and people who will talk about what we can do. We'll have time to talk about what we as a community can do to be like those penguins, where we shiver together and survive this thing. We survived slavery, you know. And as I say all the time, this is not God's first rodeo. We need to be there and work to get HIV out of the history of Black people. Let's determine that this Black History Month is the time that we begin stopping a history that has been brutal and devastating for our community.
Wow. I cannot thank you enough, Dr. Renee, for your work, your dedication to making sure that people in our, I'm just tearing up. I'm so moved by you.
You got boys.
I do. I got sons.
You got boys.
You're talking to me. And so I'm going to do everything I can to be there on Saturday.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for
You
being
got
with me.
boys.
Anytime you need
I
to
got
uplift the
nephews.
message,
All right.
please do not hesitate to come back to the Day with Trae
Thank
and
you.
share that message with the folks, because
Thank
anything
you.
I can do, I'm here to do my part too, Dr.
Thank you.
Renee. Thank
Thank
you.
you. That's what it takes. Is that just that one sentence? HIV is still a Black thing.
You got it.
All right.
Wow. Y'all, I am truly, truly moved today. I'm going to wrap all this up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Well, on Fox Face Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face Off
We are given the platform here with no fear.
always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And
Shut
neighbors,
the hell up. You
and
interrupt
let
me all
speak
the
to my
time.
people.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
In Seattle, it's more than just coffee. It's community. At the station, we brew more than just your favorite cup. We brew connection. From Beacon Hill to Columbia City, we're a space for artists, activists, and everyone in between. A place to gather, create, and simply be. Whether you need a quiet place to work, a lively spot to meet friends, or just a moment to unwind, find your place at the station. More than coffee, it's home. Visit us in Beacon Hill or Columbia City. The station, where community happens.
Working with Dentalmen has been totally different than working with a traditional bank.
They're real, and they meet you right where you stand.
I was recently funded, and that money has just changed the trajectory of what we're able to do and our output. This has been just more than just funding or a one-on-one connect. It's been an opportunity for us to really grow and connect and build roots within the community.
As a small business owner, you need to put your faith into the right people, and they seem like good people to put their faith into.
Wow. Welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I cannot thank my guest, Dr. Renee McCoy, enough for being here to shed light on an issue that many of us, I mean, including myself, I'm like, hey, you know, technology, medication, you know, people are living with this. The numbers don't lie. And for us to do our part and just put it out there, HIV is still a Black thing, y'all, with an A, a Black thing, okay? The doctor made that very clear here. But also anything that we can be doing to elevate and uplift this. When we talk about what Black history means, I mean, to be honest, it was said perfectly. Like the penguins, we cuddle together, we snuggle up, and we utilize that friction to energize each other. Let's be in community, y'all. If nothing else, this Black History Month, let's be in community. Let's attend this event. If you're somebody out there who wants to know more, who needs to know more, like myself, please be there at Plymouth Church, okay? This Saturday, 2 to 4 p.m., understand the parameters around HIV and AIDS in the Black community and what we can be doing about it. Y'all, I'm just grateful that Dr. Renee was here to shed some real light on this and elevate me and educate me right now, elevating my mind on this issue so that we can share it with all of you, because that's really what the Day with Trae is about. And I'm just so honored that Doctor was here today to give us some information that is so needed in our community. Y'all definitely do your part, all right? If nothing more, you can put it out there. HIV is still a Black thing. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. And until tomorrow at 11 a.m., peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.